So this one time at Bandpass, I stuck a trend line up my... And happy Wednesday, traders. It is the Indicator Profile series with the Bandpass indicator. How many of you have heard of the Bandpass indicator? I doubt it's many of you. This one is quite a find if I do say so. But before we get into it, let me just tell everybody here, you are at the #1 indicator channel in all of YouTube. It's always been that way. It will always be that way. But make sure you learn this system before you start looking at videos like this. You have probably traveled too far, and it is not fair to you to watch a video you may not fully understand. And we do not entertain beginner questions in the comment section. So go to nononsenseforex.com, read the first page, watch the first video, get yourself started. It is certainly worth it. So for those of you who are already there, let's go ahead and go over the specs for the Bandpass indicator. The year is going to be 2019. The type is going to be a confirmation indicator, and the subtype is a zero cross. Now, on the surface, it's not going to look like a zero cross, but those of you who have been with me for long enough are going to understand exactly why it is a zero cross. Now, in terms of being an exit indicator, for zero cross indicators, I don't normally recommend it, but there is going to be an element of this indicator. It's an interesting one that may compel you to try it out as an exit indicator. And the blog for the Bandpass indicator specifically advises against it. We'll talk about all this when we look at it, so let's go ahead and look at it right now. Here is what it looks like. It looks really nice and smooth. It is denoted by a histogram, but the center line right here, where the indicator actually crosses and changes color, is a zero line, therefore making it a zero cross. So if you don't know what happens when the color changes from pink to green, that is your signal to go long. When it does the opposite, that is your signal to start going short. So on the surface, it looks really nice and smooth. You have a couple losses here on these two small longs. But you have some really nice wins. And as we know, when you have small losses like this, they are fairly easy to filter out using the rest of your algorithm. But the exit indicator portion of this is, I think some of you might see this and try to get cute and say, okay, as soon as these green lines stop getting higher and start getting lower, that is going to be a good sign to exit. You can go ahead and try it, but the blog specifically, like I said, recommends against it. Now, this is one of those indicators, if you really want to nerd out, has just a few moving parts, but a ton of math behind it and a ton of optionality in terms of how you can actually adjust it with those three variables. So it's cool, very simple, very pretty to look at, but does have some complex math behind it, yet not super hard to adjust. As long as it performs well, this is the type of indicator I really like bringing to you. So let's actually go and see how it did. Now, before we do that, understand that the numbers you are about to see don't mean a whole lot. The only numbers that really do matter is how it performs in your system. So that must be the very first thing you do after you have consumed all of the material on this indicator that you want. Now, what material would that be? Well, we got a whole bunch of stuff down below in the description. We have, if you don't know, a link to my automation blog, which has an embedded video showing you how to test these things yourself on the MT4 strategy tester. Now the Bandpass was initially, if I recall, a trading view indicator. I'm not super familiar with the name, but if you can find it and you want to put that in the comments, I will pin your comment to the top, whoever gets there first. So fame and fortune awaits you if you can tell me what the trading view equivalent to this indicator is. It's probably something called Bandpass. Anyway, you also get a link to the blog. As always, you're going to have to know the tweak settings that we show, because you're going to see, too, on the results that the tweak settings really make a difference here, a lot more than they typically do. And just this indicator has a lot to it. You're going to want to know what that is. So make sure you check out the blog. That's going to be at the very bottom of the description. Also, Dan Stone of Stonehill Forex, who does the blog, has his own YouTube channel where he shows this indicator moving in real time on the 1-minute chart to show you that it doesn't repaint, and then always adds a bit more information than I give on this video here. Now, if you want to send in an indicator to be profiled here, there is a way to do that. there's a particular email address. Use that email address, we will look it over, and we will see if it is right for the channel. We've already done a handful of them before. And then, let's not forget the most popular place in all of the world, really. It's the indicator library, where you can download the Bandpass indicator and every indicator we have done here on the Indicator Profile series. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results, starting with the EURUSD. And this is pretty strong. This is on the higher end of what we have seen ever since we started testing this the new way. With those tweaks, we have really made a difference in ROI, a big difference in win-loss, and it does make the signals go up, which is kind of needed. 10 signals is pretty low. You want something higher. Honestly, if you went back and looked again at this indicator, one of the first things you might be thinking is, man, this really lends itself well to a secondary confirmation indicator. And I think just based on the amount of signals alone, you might be right, because the signals don't get too much higher as we go forward. So let's go ahead and go forward into gold. Again, big time adjustment when you start tweaking the settings, which is big. About average from what you're seeing for gold from us. You know, we're starting to kind of dip into 10% territory there, which I don't love. So it's nice to see this go higher than that, and a nice amount higher than that too. Now let's move over to the S&P, again on the higher end in terms of ROI. Your win-loss ratio, we've seen win-loss ratios on this indicator profile series recently creep into more of the 70-75% variety, but you are getting a better ROI in exchange for a bit lower of a win-loss ratio here. And then on Bitcoin, about average across the board, I would say. Really nothing to talk about except for the low amount of signals, which if you are a more passive trader, or for example, you trade a lot of different crypto pairs, this is actually probably going to be nice, especially if you're a discretionary trader who is not automating. But if it is the only crypto pair you trade, you're going to either want something higher or you want to make this your secondary confirmation indicator. So a fun one this week. Happy to bring it to you. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. Don't miss anything. We have a trading psychology podcast. We have an indicator profile series. We have an investing podcast every Saturday. And absolutely nobody out there takes the approach that we do to trading and overall finance. You're going to want to get on board. You're going to want to watch the material. You're going to want to put in the work. That last part's up to you. So go get it.